We all go through endings, right? Some are big, some are small, and they can be really, really tough. But what if I told you that every ending isn't just an end? What if it's actually the setup for a brand new beginning? That's what we're going to explore today.
Okay, I want you to think about probably the first game you ever played. Peekaboo, right? You cover your face, you see the baby's expression kind of shift from curious to, a little bit worried, and then you drop your hands and say, peekaboo! And what happens? They just explode with laughter, hysterically. So why? What is so unbelievably funny about that moment?
Well, the psychology behind this is actually pretty fascinating. See, tiny babies haven't developed this thing called object permanence yet. It sounds like a fancy term, but it's a really simple idea. It's just knowing something still exists even when you can't see it. Like, your phone is in your pocket right now even without looking at it. But a baby? They just don't have that certainty.
So just think about what that actually means. When you cover your face to that baby, you haven't just hidden. From their point of view, you have literally vanished. You've ceased to exist. You are completely, totally, 100% gone. So when you suddenly reappear, it's a genuine shock. It is truly like you've just come back from the dead.
So Peekaboo is way more than just the game, right? It's like this little microdrama. It's a tiny, totally safe experience of loss and then a resurrection. It's this mini cycle of something disappearing and then reappearing. And believe it or not, that little cycle, that's a pattern that shapes our entire world every single day.
So let's take this idea and scale it way up, from a baby's game to something every single one of us experiences. Let's talk about nighttime, but maybe in a way you've never really thought about it before.
Okay, do a quick thought experiment with me. I want you to imagine you're living, thousands of years ago. There are no light switches, no street lamps, no phone screens, no flashlights. There's literally nothing but the sun, the moon, and the stars to give you light. So, what happens when the sun goes down?
It didn't just get dark. Think about it. The entire world as you knew it, it ended. Everything you could see, the landscape, the trees, the faces of the people you love, all of it just vanished into total blackness. In a very real, tangible way, the world was gone.
Every single night was like a small death for the world. The light disappears, the warmth from the sun fades away, and you get that chill in the air. Your visibility is just gone. And all the normal sounds of the day, the birds, people talking and working, they all go silent. And they're replaced by these strange, maybe even kind of scary sounds of the night.
And really, if you'd never seen it before, you'd have zero reason to believe that it was ever coming back. That could be it, the end. But then, after what feels like the longest, darkest hours, something happens. You see that first crack of light on the horizon. And then, morning.
And just like that, the cycle is complete. With the morning, the entire world comes back. The colors, the landscape, the warmth. Everything that was gone is suddenly alive again. It's this incredible rhythm. Night is a small death, and morning is a daily resurrection. The world is literally reborn every single day.
Now, this rhythm of disappearing and reappearing, it's not just a coincidence of how our planet spins. It's actually a clue to something much deeper, a fundamental pattern that's woven into the very fabric of reality itself.
Think about the creation story. There's this one phrase that gets repeated over and over again for each day. And it was evening, and it was morning. Have you ever stopped to think about how kind of weird that order is? Why not morning, then evening? Why does it always start with the darkness?
It's because that sequence, that's the blueprint. It's the fundamental rhythm of how things are made. Creation doesn't start with something already there. It starts from a state of absence. It always moves from darkness to light, from an ending to a new beginning. That's the foundational pattern of everything.
Okay, so this is a really cool, big picture idea. But what on earth does any of this have to do with your actual life, like right now? Well, it turns out it has everything to do with it. Because every single one of us has our own evening experiences.
Everyone goes through loss. Maybe for you it was a friendship that just fizzled out or ended really badly. Maybe your family moved and you had to leave everything you knew behind. Maybe it's the deep grief of losing someone you love. Or maybe it's just the end of a chapter, like leaving a school or a team and having to say goodbye to something that was a huge part of your life.
You know that heavy feeling in your stomach? That sense of finality where you just think, it's over. This good thing is gone and it's never coming back. That feeling right there, that is the evening experience. That's your own personal world disappearing into the darkness for a little while.
And this is where that ancient pattern we've been talking about becomes so much more than just a cool idea. This is where it can become a source of real strength for you. So here's the big takeaway.
Because if we trust this deep, cosmic pattern, then the evening is never the final word. The ending is never just the end. It's the setup. It's the necessary first half of the story.
Okay, and we have to be really, really clear about this. This whole idea doesn't magically make the pain go away. Loss is real. It hurts. Sometimes it hurts terribly. This isn't some simple platitude to make you pretend that endings aren't brutal, because a lot of the time, they are.
But what it does mean is that the fundamental pattern of the universe is actually on your side. The exact same rhythm that brings the sun up, without fail, every single morning, is at work in your life too. The very design of reality says that presence will emerge from absence.
So when you find yourself in that dark place, in that evening experience, it is so important to remember this, that darkness isn't a sign that you failed. It's not some kind of punishment, and it absolutely does not mean you are stuck there forever.
In fact, here's the most crucial point of all. The darkness is what makes the light possible. It's not the enemy of a new beginning, it's the soil where a new beginning can actually grow. You see, just like the whole world has to go quiet before the sun can rise, sometimes our lives have to go through an evening before we can finally get to our next morning.
So I'll leave you with this question. In your own life, right now, where can you start to look for a new morning? Even if it's just the tiniest crack of light on the horizon, I really hope you find it. Thanks for being here.